A few minutes ago, representatives of the Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation made another official statement regarding the situation in the Kursk direction of the front. So, according to the Russian military department, as of September 14, 2024, Russian troops continue their successful offensive in the Kursk region, knocking out the Ukrainian army units from occupied settlements. It is reported that at the moment, the Russian army continues to storm the settlement of Lyubimovka. At the same time, it is worth noting that the Ukrainian army units are fiercely resisting, even though Russian troops are attacking this settlement from 3 directions at once. Such fierce resistance from the Ukrainian army and the unwillingness of the Ukrainian High Military Command to surrender Lyubimovka can be understood. The fact is that the loss of Lyubimovka by the Ukrainian army will open the way for Russian troops to the Zeleny Shlyak farm, in the southwestern part of the village of Novoivanovskoye. My friends, you should understand that if the Ukrainian armed forces lose control of the village of Novoivanovskoye and its farm, in the southwestern part, it will be a disaster for the Ukrainian army in the north, as the Ukrainian High Military Command will completely lose the opportunity to supply its units there. As for the newly liberated settlements, the Russian military department officially announced that the Russian army has liberated 3 more settlements in the Kursk region today. In particular, we are talking about such settlements as Daryano, Pokrovsky, and Tolsty Lug. Thus, as of September 14, 2024, Russian troops liberated 13 settlements in the Kursk region. According to war correspondents, the Ukrainian army has finally begun to recover from the shock of the rapid advance of Russian troops in the Kursk region. According to them, the Ukrainian army began to rapidly organize the defense in the Kursk region, and even tried to attack Russian forces in some areas of combat contact line. However, these attempts to attack the positions of Russian troops only lead to even greater losses in manpower and equipment of the Ukrainian army. By the way, a few minutes ago, Russian Marines posted a video showing another destroyed equipment and manpower of Ukrainian troops, who were trying to break through the Russian border in a new section, in the area of such settlements as Novyi Put and Medvazhai. According to the Russian Marines, the Ukrainian command does not take into account losses, and continues to send its soldiers to slaughter. It is reported that in the last 24 hours alone, the Ukrainian army has lost more than 100 soldiers and 40 pieces of heavy equipment, while trying to break through the Russian border in a new area, in order to deliver a blow in the back of the Russian army, which continues its successful offensive in the Kursk region. At the same time, it is worth noting that some Ukrainian Telegram channels began to report that despite heavy losses in manpower and equipment, the Ukrainian army still managed to advance into the depths of Russian territory near the settlement of Novyi Put by about 1.5 kilometers. It is difficult to say how reliable this information is. However, the fact remains that Ukrainian troops will continue to try to break through the Russian border in a new area, in order to distract the advancing Russian forces in the Sudzensky and Koronevsky districts of the Kursk region. In this regard, the Russian General Staff and General Valery Gerasimov himself must do everything possible to prevent the Ukrainian command from distracting Russian troops from their successful advance in the Kursk region. Meanwhile, commenting on the current events in the Kursk region, Western analytical centers stated that despite the attempt of the armed forces of Ukraine to break through the Russian border in a new area and go behind enemy lines, Ukrainian troops continue to switch to the depth defense along the entire combat contact line. It is reported that the Ukrainian army has begun to build a powerful defense in territories still under its control. At the same time, Western analytical centers express confidence that the offensive of the Russian army in the Kursk region is only a prelude to an even more powerful and large-scale military operation. Meanwhile, it is worth paying attention to the statements of many independent Ukrainian military experts and analysts. According to them, the defense of the Ukrainian army in the Kursk region and the Donbass is rapidly crumbling. Despite all attempts by the armed forces of Ukraine to stabilize the front in the Donetsk region and stop the advance of the Russian army in the Pokrovsk direction of the front, Russian troops continue to develop their offensive, rapidly approaching the main city of Donbass, Pokrovsk. In addition, Russian troops are also rapidly developing their success in the Kursk region, liberating several settlements every day. Against this backdrop, the number of deserters and captured Ukrainian soldiers has greatly increased. Experts admit that since the beginning of September 2024, the number of captured Ukrainian soldiers has doubled. It is reported that the largest number of Ukrainian soldiers who surrendered to the Russian army is recorded precisely in the Kursk region. In addition, due to the numerous so-called mini-cauldrons in the Kursk region, the number of foreign mercenaries captured by the Russian army has also increased. According to the authoritative Telegram channel MASH, over the 4 days of the offensive actions of the Russian army in the Kursk region, more than 200 Ukrainian soldiers and dozens of foreign mercenaries voluntarily laid down their arms and surrendered to Russian troops. Moreover, experts expressed confidence that if the Ukrainian command would not be able to stabilize the situation in the Kursk region and the Pokrovsk direction of the front shortly, then by the end of September this year, with the formation of cauldrons and the collapse of defense lines, the Russian army will be able to capture about 5,000 Ukrainian soldiers and several hundred foreign mercenaries. In addition, it is also reported that the commander-in-chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, General Sersky, has brought the situation to such a state when the Ukrainian army is forced to begin to restrain the advancing Russian forces solely at the expense of the last reserves. Against this backdrop, many admitted that the Ukrainian army has almost completely exhausted its reserves, as a result of which the imminent full-scale retreat of the armed forces of Ukraine in the Kursk region in Donbass is just a matter of time.